first of all, accept that rejection hurts. I think, like no matter how, like there's nothing good about it. But also, I think it's also important to accept that that rejection is rarely personal. It's almost never personal. And it very, very often has actually no bearing whatsoever on the quality of your work or who you are as a person. That there are almost always other forces at work that are conspiring that you can't know about and you can't deal with. And sometimes even the person who's doing the rejecting doesn't want to do the rejecting, but they don't actually have any choice for one reason or another, things that they have no control over and you can't even know. So, so I think I think with rejection, you just kind of try to make the context a little bigger, frame it a little wider. Remember, n number of great artists that got rejected 1,000 times before they got anywhere. And a lot of people that you're trying to get that thing from, the people you're trying to get the yes from, are spending their whole day having to say no. Like I remember this when I was like pitching film projects when in the aughts, and we had some successes, but there was a lot of love the project, can't fit it into our stuff now, or I do it if I could, or whatever. And it's like, and you'd be pissed off. What do you mean you can't do it now? Because if it's good, you should do it. But in a wider lens, there's probably a really good reason for it that not only is unknowable, but it's like there's nothing you can do about it. So why worry about it? I think with the rejection thing, you just gotta keep doing the work and the good work, and keep being willing to put yourself out there, because sometimes it's just a numbers game. And I see this happen with my students all the time, right? Like the number of times, like really good students, I'm going, why does this person not scored an internship yet? Like they're great. And oftentimes it is literally just odds and numbers and luck. Like you just weren't in the right spot at the right time for the right person for the right need. And if you were, it would have locked in and you were good. Didn't work out that one. Okay, fire the shotgun and keep firing it, because one of those ones, it is going to be the right spot at the right time. And I don't deny that that's a hard thing to do mentally. But I would also say that the other way you can mitigate the impact of it is to be systematic. So, if you're in a position like where you're trying to sell something through, or you're trying to get a yes from somewhere, systematize it. Get it on a spreadsheet. Make sure you know every single person you've talked to, and try to get that. If not you, then who, right? And then move on to that next who, right? Because then you don't get to see it as a whole bunch of failure. You see it as just part of a process that's getting you to success.
Makes a lot of sense. I see that a lot with myself, is that the things that I do systematize and almost gamify, like I think of a character in a role-playing game where the more I do the hacking of the lumber, the more my axe skills go up, And so it's almost gamifying that. At the gym, for example, I don't really care about how much I'm lifting. I'm just trying to get as many gym sessions in for the year,
right,
to get the benefit of being stronger or losing weight. And I'm going to pivot a little bit. I have a feeling this is going to be you're going to say nothing, but how do you deal with regret? And do you have any regrets?
How do I deal with regret? Yeah. Well, oops.
You're good.
I regret bumping my mouth.
You're good.
Looking like an idiot. So I think that I have the good fortune of being in a place in my life where I've basically processed my regrets, because I have the luxury of being, in a fairly happy place in terms of my health and my marriage and my job and my career. And like probably the most recent regret I had to process was I was thinking about there was an opening for an associate dean job at Humber, and I was beginning to feel kind of stale in the program, and I thought about, okay, do I want to actually kind of move up the food chain? And so I put a hard swing in for that, and then some things revealed themselves to me that realized that it was a fixed job and I wasn't going to get it, and I was super angry about it for a while because I found the process to be so fundamentally disrespectful. But then I just had to kind of pack that away and go, well, you know what, that's Humber, right? And so my regret on that was that I couldn't have a bigger impact on a larger field, because that's kind of what I wanted the job for. And because the thing that always kind of frustrated me about my role now as program coordinator for the Boca program is that you have such limited power and by power I mean basically access to money, right? That's really what power is. Like I have no budget. I can't hire people. I can't. I have to go beg for stuff all the time when I want to get it done. And I was really tired of that, and I wanted to be in a position to actually move some levers, because and lots of my colleagues were very keen on the idea of me getting the job because they thought I'd be perfect for it. Yada yada yada. And then it didn't happen for some kind of bad reasons. And as I say, I was super angry about it. But then, giving it more thought, I kind of went that, okay, so like if you didn't get the job, like, is that really that awful? Because really, what you're doing now is work that you you love, you know that you are good at, and you know is satisfying, and you know that has an impact on individual people's lives. Whereas if you'd gone up the food chain, you're getting into a more diffuse and more abstract level of impact. Maybe it's okay to be happy with that. So if you think about in terms of how you cope with regrets, like I think that's kind of where I usually end up going is, yes, it wasn't what I wanted. Maybe it's something that I wish hadn't happened, but seeing as it has happened, what is it about the outcome that I'm left with, which is actually satisfying?
Yeah, you're reframing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I get that. That's a really good way to look at it, because I feel like a lot of people, like myself included, and other young people who are not sure, maybe walk the path and regret it. But every lesson, every path you walk, I guess, teaches you something.
Well, right? And every path has shit in it too, right? Like that's the other thing.
That's a good point.
There is no golden path, right?
Yeah.
Like whatever your ambition is, whatever the job is that you want, whatever your ideal thing is that you want to do with your life, get there and you will discover, there's crap in this too.
Yeah, that's true. I think we're sold this like in TVs and movies and stories of like perfect and get the job, press the stamp button for 40 years and you get a golden watch at the end, and that's a perfect life.
Well, honestly, I think that social media's got a little bit to blame on this, because all we ever see is the great stuff.
Yeah.
Because who posts about the shit things that happen in their lives or their jobs? Nobody, right? It's all about the successes and the wins and the glory and the awards and
the Cannes Lions.
The Cannes Lions and all that kind of stuff. And and not about the the shit clients and the bad bosses and like the crappy coworker that's stabbing you, or whatever it is.
Yeah, hopefully not literally.
Yeah. It's like, and it's all there in some form somewhere. Like it's and obviously some things are considerably worse than others, and some things are considerably better than others. But there's always going to be crap and downsides. Like I love my job. I totally love my job. There are things about that job that drive me out of my mind all the time. And, ultimately, in a lot of cases where I've just had to go, you know what, just let it go, because you're just wasting energy. There are things you can change and things you can't change. And if you can't change it, there's only so much beating your head against the wall that is worth doing. And so just let it go, and accept the fact that in exchange for this shit, you get this really great thing, and so long as the balance is always way more great than shit, then you're winning.
Yeah.
Right? You're winning,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Like, I used to think about this about relationships, right? Relationships are fun, and relationships are work. And when the balance tips more to work and less to fun, that's when you got to go, either we got to fix this or we got to get out. And I think it's the same thing with work. It's like, it's satisfying and there's shit. Try to keep the ledger on the satisfying, fun, wonderful part of it, and
I really like that.
accept that there's crap.